Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of the Jade Mechanic Podcast. If you're looking on the screen right now, you're recognizing a good friend of mine, Mr. Bret Fadley. We're here tonight, kind of, because I don't get to talk to Bret as much as I want to, and I really wish, and Bret's been busy a lot in the last little while with some stuff going on, which is, we all face that kind of thing. But Bret, thank you for joining me tonight, man. I really appreciate it.
Dude, Jeff, thanks for the opportunity again. It's always good to see you, my friend. Like you said, be more pleasurable. We could see more often of in-person stuff. So
yeah, and like I said, we're coming up real close to Tools. We've got about 6 weeks out from Tools in Pennsylvania.
Tools, yes, April 29th to May 3rd in Hershey this year. Yeah. So our little slogan is "Come unwrap your potential."
I love that. And like last year was my first year to Tools, and when we were in Lancaster, and I'll tell everybody, it was a cool vibe last year. It really was, because you could see how much work you had put in to try and bring this thing. I don't want to. Is it fair to say bring it back, Bret?
Yes, you can say it's been brought back, risen from the dead. Yeah. It's not zombie like. I initially put a lot of effort into it, but when we became Mid-Atlantic Auto Care, that helped tremendously, especially this year, like you said, and I'll share the reason that some people haven't heard me or promoting Tools as much as I normally have.
Yeah,
is I've been dealing with a lot of medical problems that are currently with my wife since the beginning of the year. So thank goodness for the organization and the help that I've received this year to keep putting this event and driving it forward, because I want to see Tools become what, a big show here for the Northeast sector.
And I'll say this, that we talk about, how certain shows have different feels, and, everybody kind of gets all up in their feels about, Aston says that it has a very unique kind of, vibe to it. And you and I have been there before, and you can kind of, what I'm saying, it has that, but your show has that same thing. I was sitting there last year in Pennsylvania, and it had that same vibe of, it's not it was just so many friends and familiar faces, Bret, coming together, that it felt like Asta in a different location, which is
kind of what I'm going for, buddy.
And that was, so I mean, because we talk, I've been to Apex and SEMA now twice, and it's cool because you're in Vegas, but it's a whirlwind, right? So some of these events, sometimes it's finding that right mix of enough people, and I don't want to say the right people or the wrong people, because that gets clicky, but you know what I mean? There's a vibe at Tools last year that just felt really relaxed and homey and comfortable and familiar, and yet it was the first time I was there. It was the first time a lot of us had been there. So yeah, hats off to you, man, for doing such an awesome job. I'm so excited that it's coming up, and people were at the Hershey Lodge, which is the place to be in Hershey. I've never been to Hershey. Well, I say never. I was there when I was 6, so I don't remember. My dad took me down for a car show, because my dad did that kind of stuff when I was young. And I say he took me down there. He would have been down there to probably pick up a project car for a customer, or on the hunt for parts. I don't remember what. It was so long ago. So I don't have any recollection of what Hershey's like, but I loved the drive that I did down last year, coming down to Lancaster, and I'm looking forward to that drive down. I really am. It's a nice, beautiful drive that time of year to come down.
Good. We can't wait to have you there. Be prepared. They pump in the Hershey Lodge through the air. Chocolate is pumped. The chocolate smell is pumped through the whole lodge. So if you are a chocolate lover, and you better carry a napkin or a handkerchief, because you'll be drooling.
That's my weakness, is chocolate, for sure. Anything sweet I love, but chocolate especially. I'm always looking for chocolate. It doesn't help my waistline, but it's one of those strong coffee and good chocolate. I probably could sustain my whole existence on that.
I just did a bourbon night, Jeff. I hired a lady come in and did a bourbon tasting night, and she paired all the 4 bourbons that she brought with chocolates.
Wow.
And it definitely, everyone she picked, it went right with that bourbon. And I'm not a big bourbon person. If you know me, I'm a beer guy.
Promotive is built by design for our automotive industry. It's not just another job finding website or a search function. Promotive's recruiters and account managers understand the different roles within your shop. They understand the different pay structures and what great culture in a shop looks like. If you want some expert guidance on your career path, you want to talk to my friends at Promotive today. Yeah.
Give me a beer, and I'm happy. But it was interesting. And when you're talking about the chocolate, and you put a good chocolate with anything, and it accentuates everything.
Yeah. So that's, people that we still have lots of open spots available for tools is what I'm trying to say. So if you're sitting on the fence about, joining Bret and I, please don't get off that fence and go, because I guarantee you this event has that same kind of vibe that so many other people are looking for in terms of, that ability to network. Because we talk about, the technical training and the courses and all that kind of stuff that are at, these events, and that's important. And, it's a big deal. It's the reason why a lot of us go. But like Bret and I were talking, man, a lot of this stuff, the beauty of these events is the networking that you get to do, right? Like
absolutely,
you get to meet these shop owners that have, leveled up from maybe where you are or wanting to level up with you, but you're talking about different challenges and the same challenges. And, it's just that I keep telling everybody, you come away with the confidence that, wow, man, I can completely turn this thing over tomorrow. Whatever might be in front of you as an obstacle, you come away so empowered with the idea that it's really not that big a deal because you've talked to people that were through it and are going through it and have gone past. And you just feel like Monday morning when you come back from these shows, you can start, implementing these change. And that's the beauty of these shows. It isn't about necessarily the little nuggets. We all get nuggets from every course that we're in all the time. But it's that confidence that you come away with because you make new friends and somebody, says, no, definitely, Bret, go do that thing that you were thinking about doing because I did it and it worked for me. That's the beauty of what we come away from these events from. I feel
the camaraderie, it only helps strengthen the industry.
Yes.
If we can all be together in one place, whether it's at Tools or ASTA, Vegas, or Vision, the camaraderie and the friendships you can build are lifelong. To me, you can't put a price on that.
No.
When people say, well, I can't afford to take myself or my entire team to any of these events, because let's face it, if you're going to invest, not expense.
Yep.
To take your team, you got to shut the shop down.
Yeah.
So you're losing revenue. And it's not cheap. For me to take my entire team, which I've done the last 3 or 4 years down to ASTA, it's a $10,000 weekend.
Yeah.
Till you pay for the registration, hotel, and everything else. However, it's an investment. And not only the camaraderie you're going to gain from people that you meet at that event, it's only going to strengthen and build your camaraderie within your shop.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Tanika talked about how, in Tanika's new podcast, she talked about her young, I don't call him young, Albert, her kind of, you can call him her head technician. All around Albert's work area, he has things written down and stuck up on notes and sheets of paper and whatever, key things that were said at these events that he takes and puts in his brain and then, plasters up around him to kind of remember, it's part of his process. It's part of his, belief system when he's at the shop. That kind of thing, you can't put a price on that, right? Because it's when you come home from these events and you have memories that you shared together with your employees and your boss and, your friends that we see here, like Bret. How cool is it that we see now the Burrises, right? Every time we go to one of these events, or we see John Firm, or all these Tanika, all these people that are we're so fortunate to be able to call them family or
friends, family.
Yeah, that they're all there, but you come away from the event and employee to employer, you have these memories of things that you shared, whether it's dinner or something, that will stay in your stay in your psyche about what makes that relationship, that working relationship, so special. Is those things you share,
And before we came on, you and I were talking about the excitement about attending these events.
Yeah.
Is once you have attended and you've created these relationships, you're excited to go back because you can't wait to be in person with your friends and hang out, have a drink, have some chocolate or whatever, and just converse and be there in person.
Most automotive conferences, unfortunately, only focus on one side of the shop. But Tectonic 2026, presented by TechMetric, is different. It's built for the whole shop. Owners, advisors, and technicians all have sessions designed for the work they actually do day to day. It's 3 days in Houston, packed with workshops, panels, and over 1,000 people from the industry are set to attend. And you don't need to be a TechMetric customer to qualify. Hit up the link in the show notes below and check out Tectonic 2026. Register now while you still can to get the early bird pricing. Yeah.
I don't know how many industries can say that. I mean, let's face it, we are in a tough industry, but we need each other to help build us each up individually. Because I just talked to you earlier this week about an issue I was having, and that's some of that relationships you build by coming, and the networking is like, all right, we're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And we've went through the processes, and you kind of, and I think everybody gets it. You get a brain fog. You go in a circle, and it's like, all right, I feel fortunate to be able to call somebody like you or Brian Pollock, Brandon Steckler, Andrew Fisher, Keith Perkins, and say, hey, we've run into this.
Yeah.
What have you guys done?
Yeah. Yeah. And I know when I was thinking about that truck, Bret had a truck that it was it a Ford Excursion with a parasitic drain that you were tracking down.
Parasitic drain. We think it's coming out of the gem module.
Which that gem module on that one is obsolete, right? Like it's not
obsolete. Yeah. Nobody has them.
Not supported anymore. I have a story. I have a 21 Nissan. I guess in Canada they call it a Kicks, but it'd be like another. I guess they don't call them Kicks in the US. It's like a Nissan. It'd be like a mini Rogue or something.
I think I've seen them.
Okay, so
maybe small little,
1.6 liter and. So 2021, and I'll have to do the kilometer things, and I'm sorry, guys, because that's what it works up here. But they have a 5-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty on the powertrain. And of course, so I work at a used car lot. We sold this to this lady over 2 years ago. And she comes in the other day and she says, I have an oil leak, which wasn't a leak in the sense of dripping down the side of the engine. It's actually blow by coming past the fill cap. And it runs rough. Well, does it ever run rough? It's a completely dead hole on cylinder 2. Like it's a really hard misfire, flashing the whole thing. And she's been driving this car till she decides that she can make it in, make her appointment, take it off the road. And so I get at it and I start looking at it real quick and I'm like, I break my process. And I'm running through it real quick because I have like 4 cars that are backed up that have to get done in terms of are reconditioned to be sold. So, she has an extended warranty that we have provided, sold through or whatever, but we're a shop that is so small in size and staff, there's only 2, that sometimes like the after sale service, sometimes if it needs a repair, we have to sublet a lot of that out because otherwise we get so backed up in moving our units, right? So real quick, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't have I'm not firing number 2 coil at all. I'm like, that's weird. So I go through my checks and everything like this, and I'm like, yeah, it's not fire number 2 coil. And I'm like, so I look, check my wiring. Wiring's all good. Circuits can power up, can carry load. I'm like, well, she's got a warranty still on the engine control module. Call up the dealer and see about when they can get this in, and because I don't have the facility where I'm at, and again, it's still under warranty. To put an ECM in this anyway, and it's under warranty, so we would be doing something unjust, I feel like, if we were to charge her and put it in, right? She can get it for free. So we make the appointment, and I'm sitting there, and the whole time I'm working on these other cars and I'm getting it done, I'm like, something just doesn't seem right here. So I talk to Brian and I bring it back in and I go through, and because I had abandoned my process and not done a relative compression test, I start over with the RC test, and sure enough, it's got a dead hole on cylinder 2, which we knew it had a misfire. But I'm going back, and I start trying to load and test the coil another way, and I can prove that the ECM is not actually cutting the coil off. It's just responding to the fact that it won't create any pressure in number 2. And that's not one of those things, Bret, where it's like, if I didn't have these people that I've been able to reach out to, I would have made the wrong shot. It would have sent over there for the dealer. Now it's at the dealer and they're telling her that it needs an engine, which it does. It's got no pressure. Can't build anything in cylinder 2. But now we have to go through the problem of trying to figure out if they're actually going to warranty it or not, because I guess they're finding sludge in the bottom of the engine. She's been very good about her maintenance since she bought it, but she bought it at like 70,000 kilometers, right? I'm sorry,
right.
Kilometers, guys. And it's now at close to 100. So we don't know the first half of that car's life in terms of, we don't know how well it was taken care of. So now we're all sitting here trying to figure out like what's going to happen. And that's kind of one of those things where if I wasn't so fortunate to have made the network I built, I would have made the wrong call, and
it only reflects on you.
That's right. I'm, like Tanika says, you got to slow down to go fast, right? I wasn't doing that. I was just trying to go fast. So,
and that we all probably fall into that rut too. You know, confidence can kill you.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Because the one time you think it's the same thing as it always was is the one time it isn't going to be that.
Right. Yep.
But I'm excited to see some of the classes that you've got. I know Brandon Steckler is back this year. Keith Perkins is back.
We got Andrew Fisher. Let me pull him up here. But Tools is going to have something for everybody.
Your auto repair shop doesn't slow down, and neither should your tools. When diagnostics get more advanced, systems get smarter, and vehicles get more complex, one name keeps shops moving forward. Launch Tech USA. From powerful diagnostic tools to ADAS calibrations, wheel alignments, TPMS service, even heavy-duty solutions, Launch Tech USA delivers speed, accuracy, and control where it matters most. Faster, smarter, more diagnostics done right the first time. Whether you're working on passenger vehicles, fleets, EVs, or advanced driver systems, Launch Tech USA gives your technicians the confidence to tackle anything that rolls into your bays. Backed by constant software updates, expanding vehicle coverage, and real support from real experts, Launch Tech USA isn't just keeping up. We're pushing the industry forward. If you're ready to work faster, diagnose better, and stay ahead of the curve, visit our website at www.launchtechusa.com.
Yeah. From bottom level guy to the owner of the shop, service advisors, some marketing skill stuff. We even got collision. We have a bunch of collision classes. We tried it last year. It didn't go over too good, but we're trying to build the collision side of the industry as well.
Yeah.
And bring them into I've been in this business almost 40 some years, and that's always our hardest draw, is trying to get the collision shops in one room.
It is.
But we got collision classes for them. So we're, Birdie's going to be there, Melissa Patterson. Coralie Zuff is going to be there. Of course, we got Rick White, Cecil Bullard, Jimmy Lee's coming.
Yes.
Even Kent. We got Kent Bullard coming this time.
I'm excited to see Kent again, because Kent just did an episode that got released with Josh Brunel. You might not have heard it, but what a powerful episode that was. Kent, I know if you're going to hear this before I get there, dude, I'm going to give you a hug when I see him, man, because his episode with Josh really touched me. Really.
And there's somebody that's really making a name in our industry is Josh. Unfortunately, we couldn't bring him in this year.
Yeah.
But I was kind of heartbroken. And the problem is being the event organizer. Yeah. And when we say no to some people, I'm the one that has all the personal connections.
Yes. Yeah. And again, it's just, I don't want to say that everybody's going to too many, because we talked about that before we got on, but like I was sharing with you how like it's so hard for me when I'm at an event to come home and just flip back to being in
right,
Jeff, because like my brain is still,
flying around.
it's still in Vegas, or it's still in, North Carolina, or it's still in Pennsylvania. So when I come back, like these ones that are they're jet setting every month or somewhere else, my hat's off to them for being able to do it, because it is not, living out of a suitcase is not fun.
No.
That's for musicians, not for mechanics.
My waistline is already grown. I can't imagine if I would be on the road.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's just, when I was in Vegas, I've never eaten so much, like, dense food. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's a 14-ounce steak 2 nights in a row? It's no big deal. Like,
Heart attack waiting to happen.
let's eat a pound steak every day for 4 days consecutive. What the hell? You're in Vegas only once, right? And so that's the whole thing. Traveling for me is I love it, and I love seeing my family when I'm out there. And like Brian Pollock, it's so funny. Hey, Brian's not that far from me. He's like a 3-hour drive, but yet we don't get to see each other as much as we should. So
we all got busy. We all have busy lives, and time gets away from us.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
And that's another thing. Going to these events, it kind of lets you enjoy it, because now you slowed down some with your personal and busy life. You made the commitment to go to one of these events to learn and network and stuff. And it gives you some time to, and we build, when you try and organize an event like this, you want to make sure you have enough networking time.
Yes.
Where it's not class, this, and it's you're running 20 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour all the time. So we do allow a lot of time, and I think somebody said it, the some of the real learning goes on at the bar or in the couches in the area after the fact.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I can still remember, like last year, that was when, I got to introduce, Check Engine Chuck to Paul Danner, right? Which that was really cool, because they were both there. So I got to introduce those two people who have been pivotal in my career, and I'm blessed to be able to call them both friends, but to be able to bring them together, they had known each other, but of each other. And then to see that kind of, they get to know one another and sit around and have a drink and share stories and all this kind of stuff. That's the coolest vibe that you can be responsible for, or take a little credit for, or just get to witness, because it's the same as like Chuck getting to meet Tanika, and like, because she lights up a room, right? She's
absolutely.
She's such I just laugh because her podcast is killing it. Like, it's doing so well. And she's a natural. And I told her that. She's like, because when she talked before it hit the ground, she's talking to me, and I'm like, you have nothing to worry about. Nothing. Like, the people love you, and you are, for all you think about, you're an introvert. You're the most easy to talk to introvert that I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she has that gift. I don't know if it's that Southern thing or what, but she's just killing it. So, I mean,
she's awesome. I told her the other day, I was like, she was worried about it too. I'm like, Tanika, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You got this.
Yeah.
I said, when you went on in Florida last year at the summit by the Institute in Florida, you said you were so nervous when you got up there on that stage to do your presentation, and you had nothing to worry about. You killed it.
Yeah.
You're a natural. Some people have it, some people don't.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's got it in spades. And I mean, the amount of people that are going to reach out to her that want to be on her show, she has nothing to worry about. Like, she literally just has to flick on the microphone and the magic's going to happen. She's so blessed that way. She already has such a huge following that people are just going to want to continue to share with her and to lift her up. She got nothing to worry about. She was she talked to me and like, how do you do this? And I'm like, listen, I'm not the guy you want to follow for how to, because
I think Lola Schmidt's another one.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, for sure. I'm excited if she's coming, because like last year,
she ain't going to make it. Sorry.
I know.
Yeah, she's got a family thing going on that same weekend.
Yeah.
Same with Paul and Kristen Danner.
Yeah, I know. It's so when we changed the date, Bret, did that kind of have a negative, or was it just?
So originally, when we left the Kalahari, when Dave Bossinger and I were trying to revive Tools, and we did finally revive it at the Kalahari where it was dying.
Mm-hmm.
We did a break even year.
Yeah.
And we were looking, and none of us knew how to figure out, okay, well, this shit you need to book years in advance for dates and places. We didn't know that.
Yeah.
Originally, we looked at Hershey. Of course, at that time, we had, we didn't have a good enough attendance and financials to even do it. But I was looking for this kind of a weekend, like the last weekend of April, beginning of May.
Mm-hmm.
Where it wound up is that last weekend in May, the last couple of years, is because the Central gave us that date. I was scared because it's the Friday after Memorial Weekend.
Yeah.
And it didn't hurt us. So we were kind of trying to keep it, since we already had them dates set the last couple of years. But this is what Hershey had available, so we took it.
Yeah.
It might be a couple of years. It might fluctuate a week or two one way or the other until we can get solidified. As this event continues to grow and we can solidify a specific weekend that this is the dates.
Yeah.
I don't want to fluctuate it. Like, okay, this year it's the end of May, or the 8th of April, next year it's in the middle of May.
Yeah.
But I don't want to overlap other shows because I don't want to take away any attendees, sponsorships, vendors and stuff, because they have budgets too that they got to follow.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's just like our friends from the shops that are managed to make so many of these. Like it's a big commitment, logistics wise, to be able to attend these events. And if we start packing a bunch of them on, 2 a month or something, I find that people, have to make the choice of one or the other. It's pretty hard to get away from your shop, 2 weeks in the same month,
and I'm hoping that people choose Tools, especially if they didn't get to go to Vision.
Yes. Yeah.
Tools is another option. It's in the spring. It's not in the fall where you got all these other shows that are going on.
Yeah.
We have a lot planned in Hershey. We're going to do the Wednesday night. The Amazing Women are having a women's social that night. And we also have 2 options for people coming in Wednesday night for just a social night, either over at Trogues Independent Brewing, where they can go to Hershey Adventureland and ride the go-karts.
I'll probably be at the brewery then, because
where I'll be.
I'll be right next to you, because I'm not. I mean, it's not that I don't enjoy the go-karts. It's just like I would rather, I don't do so well sitting that low to the ground going that fast.
There's a lot that goes into planning this, and a lot of people don't see the back end. Yeah. It's a huge, big financial commitment. Mm-hmm. So just trying to break even is what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Yes, we are trying to make a profit because we use that money for other things within the Mid-Atlantic organization. Plus, we also need a deposit for the following year.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you don't have a huge organization with a big pocketbook, you rely on shows like Tools and our other show that we've run in the fall, Super Saturday, out in Trevose.
Yeah.
Which is a smaller regional show, but we're trying to grow Tools as the big northeast sector of the United States show.
And I can tell you honestly, like, I don't find, I find that Tools is right up there with the quality of event and quality of training. That's the beauty of this, is like, and people talk about Vision. I've never attended Vision. I didn't get to go again this year. And everybody kind of holds that, but I mean, I took some amazing classes last year at Tools, and they're going to be even better this year. So people, if you're thinking like, well, is it going to be good? Yeah, because here's what's the beauty of this sometimes is you can be in a smaller classroom with less people. And then you see them, Bret knows exactly what I'm talking about. You kind of see where it's like you get a little more a different vibe in the class, in the sense that you haven't got so many people asking questions and stuff, and you can get a little more break into a question. I see Brian and Jim Kokonis when they do this, right, at Tools was great last year, because theirs is very much a really neat class to be in, because it's not that it's impromptu. It's not. There's a set that they're getting through, But the conversation always opens up in that class. And I've sat through it twice now, and I'll sit through it every time, because the questions that come back and forth from them and to the audience, that's where the nuggets are, is what that little bit that, and like Brian and Jim, you could make the argument there's not probably two smarter as a pair in a class in anywhere in the industry. So, I'm partial to both of them. They're very good friends of mine. But like, if you want to catch a really cool class, that's the one to catch.
They're bringing them both, the Control Alt Delete and Shit You Don't Know 2.0.
Yeah.
So, which I know they've had it other ones, but now we're bringing it to the Northeast.
And what's neat about that class is it's kind of like, it's a case study, fundamentals, process type mishmash, smorgasbord buffet. And because that's how Brian and I have been friends for a long, long time. So that's kind of how we talk about how do you get through this and how do you do this? It comes back to that process, right? So, and Brian and I, we talk for a long time, like, can you even teach process? And he believes you can, and I believe you can, but I believe it's anybody, not anybody. The easy thing is to be able to teach the theory, but getting somebody to put the theory into a process, that's the trick. And Brian and Jim are phenomenal at that. You come out of there with an idea about how to really implement this into your process. And that's, to me, that's the true sign of really good teaching.
Right.
Because
from what I understand, even if you've taken the Shit You Don't Know and Shit You Don't Know 2.0 before, it's going to be different content because they're constantly adding to it.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I'm so privileged to be in group chats with those guys, right? So it's like they'll talk about vehicles that they've got in their shop right now, and we're sharing little things back and forth, and they're like, well, that's going to be a case study, and then Brian's going to use that as a case study. Tommy Markham, I'm wearing his shirt. He submits stuff constantly to Brian. Brian, look at this. Or Zeb Beard, look at this. And then before you know it, you're going to be sitting there, and it's like, wow, that was cool. What a cool car, or what a neat problem to solve. It all comes from that ability. Again, it goes back to networking. These guys, you talk to Tommy, you talk to Zeb, you talk to Brian, like Tommy especially, recently in the last 2 years, like, it has been only through networking that he, has found this power to say, like, I'm going to do my business this way. It wasn't that he wasn't running a successful business, but he had a complete mind shift. A lot of that was Zeb Beard's influence, right? Zeb can influence people.
Really? Actually, I'm gonna make a shout out. Zeb, you told me you were coming this year, and I don't see you on the registration. I do see Tommy registered.
Yeah. Tommy's gonna come down. Now, we did talk, Bret, about Tommy has a particular grievance with most of the events, and he voiced it today. The coffee at some of the events is just terrible.
So, you mean like at the breaks and stuff?
Yeah. So he's like me. He's a coffee fiend. Like, he likes his coffee a certain way. He likes it strong, good coffee. So, we're not putting anybody on the spot, but like, maybe this is an opportunity for you, Bret, that if you get the best coffee at any of the events, it just becomes a shoe-in,
Well, I will tell you, it's been a while since I've had any events at the Hershey Lodge that I have attended.
Yeah.
The food has always been good.
Good.
It's last year that was some of our complaint from the venue last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was kind of disappointed with the service and the food side of it, because the venue could have held us for a while.
Yeah.
With that trade show floor, which was all, I mean, it's old. It's a runner. They had a new face on an old building and never updated the inside.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, because that place could have held us for a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
But because of some of the feedback we got, some of the disappointments, they weren't willing to say, yeah, we could do better.
Yeah.
So we went looking elsewhere. I think we landed on a very nice location with Hershey Lodge. I think we're going to be able to grow this event where it will be a destination event.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, bring your family to Hershey.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do in that area, and I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to this attendance. We need your attendance.
Yeah.
We need you guys to get registered between now and 6 weeks. The room block at the Hershey Lodge runs out March 20th.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, you'll be paying a bigger price than what we got locked in. I think it's $199 plus taxes. Which isn't bad for that hotel.
No, it's not at all. It's I'm excited to go. And like I said, I love the fact that like Tools is a driving distance for me. Now it's not like a 1 hour, it's like a 6 hour drive, but I mean, it's a beautiful trip for me. I know my friend might be coming from the other side of Toronto, and I think he'll probably drive down. So he's got another 2 hours on his drive. Frank is supposed to be coming down. I'm not sure if a niece is going to drive down or not. We're still on the fence about that. I'm working on a niece to try and get him to come. But like, I'm trying to bring these people from, Canada, if I can, over, because it's not that far a drive to come down to Tools. So my Canadian contingent is listening. If you're thinking about, and there's one other, his name escapes me at the moment, Brett, I apologize for that. But he's already told me that he's thinking he will make the trip down to Tools.
Cool.
So my Canadian brothers and sisters that are listening, if you're listening for an event that you want to make, this is not all that hard an event to do. And I would love, so here's my long-term goal, Brett. I'd love to be able to start up a caravan that leaves and I don't mean the car, I mean like a rolling caravan that leaves from somewhere around Ontario and comes down to Tools every spring, because
that would be awesome.
See, the kind of the Canadian invasion. If you ever watched an old movie, Canadian Bacon, way back in the day with
oh my God, yes.
that line, Brett. I just picture it in my head, because you're going to be amazed when you get to the Tools how it feels to be there. And I keep saying, like, I want it to be for me like it is for Asta, where it's like in every conceivable year going forward in my career, as long as I get up and do this, that it's one of those that it's a no miss for me. You know what I mean? That's what I want Tools to be for me, because it's about a vibe. I mean, I love Apex and SEMA. I love Las Vegas, but if I don't go, it's okay. I've been, you know what I mean? But there's something special about Tools, is my point, guys, that you're listening. So my Canadian friends, let's make this happen. They reach out to me all the time and they go, there's nothing happening in Toronto. And I'm like, you're right, there's not. And that's really sad. And trust me, I've tried to get some people interested in having more input and feedback on what goes on in Ontario, but it's a slow process, guys. So, if you're within driving distance or flight and you want to come to Tools and you're up in Canada thinking, where do you go? Come down, join me, and you're going to have a great time. These events are so pivotal for what's going to happen in this industry going forward. It's not even funny. We're not going to, solve some of the problems in the industry, but I'm not trying to go all doom and gloom, but we're not going to get our hand on some of the fixes unless we do these events and talk with people and network, because that's really what it is. We know what we have to do. It's getting that confidence to do it, right, Brett? It's the same as tackling a car. You have
absolutely
to have confidence, and that's what you take away from these events, people. It's so powerful when you come home from them. You feel like you could solve anything. You feel like you could fix anything. You feel like your business is, turning a corner every time you come home from them. They're amazing.
Yeah, and we'll have a trade show there on Friday and Saturday. Bring your jackets. The Jimmy Lee Bret jacket war will be on. I know Benji's he's waiting for me to do some posting, and then he's going to start rubbing it in, because that trophy's still on the.
Oh yeah, I know.
In the fucking South. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's mostly like, I don't want to say that Christy dresses Benji, but I mean, we see
she made that at Asta. His outfit she made.
Yeah, because but we see Benji the rest of the time, and then you see him at an event, and you're like, that's a completely different guy.
Like, oh, dude, when Jimmy Lee and I, when we went to that Asta we had a plan.
Yeah,
we bought the same jackets, the same LED. The LED bow tie was our secret weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And then I walk into that casino night and I heard Bret, and I couldn't see him because of those ASTA lights. And I saw him and I texted Jimmy right away, like, dude, we don't have a chance. Yeah. My staff was all worried when I jumped on that little cocktail table.
So Benji, I love you, bro, but I think there's people coming for you this time, man. So
bring your jackets, man. Bring your jackets. Let's have some fun. Saturday night, we'll have our end of event dinner, even though we'll have some things Sunday morning. Jimmy Lee will be our keynote speaker.
Nice.
Excellent. So he's stoked about that.
Yeah.
And one thing I'd like to propose to you, Mr. Jaded Mechanic, is Friday night at the welcome reception, have a come meet the Jaded Mechanic in person.
Yeah, that's something we're going to try this year. I think it's going to be very interesting.
We'll have to get some pictures and some markers so you can do some signatures. In a jacket. I'll bring you the jacket, brother.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that's just something that's going to be really cool because like so many people reach out to us and reach out to me. But I'll tell you right now, it's very hard to remember sometimes the face to the name, right? Because you got to remember, like when I'm looking at my messenger screen, your profile pic is this big, and I'm losing my sight. So, so these meet and greets, this idea, we're going to try this year because it's like, you know, you're moving around these events and you're always bumping into people and people are stopping you. And I'm not trying to say that I don't want that to happen. I do, because I want everybody that, you know, if you see me and you want to say hello, please don't ever feel like I'm too busy or I can't make the time. I will make the time every time. But this is going to be cool because if you want to come and just say hello and talk about something with me for a minute or set up, get a vibe for a feel of like, would we be a good interview? Then by all means, Friday night when I'm, you know, probably sitting at a table, you know, drinking a beer, come by, you know, and just say hello. And, you know, if you want a picture with me, I don't know why anybody would, but I'd be happy to do that. Right. And this is the thing for me is it's like, I don't ever take for granted this relationship that I have with guys like Bret and everybody, the names we talk about. I don't take it for granted for 1 second because like, you know, I'm not the shop owner. Okay. But yet to be accepted and embraced and encouraged by so many of them, really, I never let that down from my eyesight in terms of where I keep my eyes focused. And it's been really cool to be accepted, and so many of them come up and have such nice things to say. And you know, I'm doing it for all of us. It's not about, you know, like Lucas had a really good post today, but it's, you know, about blame and all that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to pit one team against the other. I'm trying to make both people understand, you know, we move through this together. You know, like Bret understands when you're trying to solve that problem car, that expedition in the shop, you know, it's a situation of your management and your techs working together. It's not about being divided at all. That's the beauty of these shows, people, is you come in and you spend some time together away from the shop, you kind of decompress a little bit and you meet people that inspire you. That's what this is about for me, you know, inspiring people. And you know, I'm blessed to be able to call these people my friends because they make me want to be better every day. And that's what's so cool, you know?
Yeah.
That's what these events do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So come by and, you know, I don't know if I'll have pictures to sign, but you could get a picture with me. You know?
I'll make sure we have something there.
The hope is in the next coming year, maybe we might get some swag up. And that'll be really cool because like I made the one clip that Braxton threw together. You know, I said, I got to get that on a t-shirt. And I already had like 10 messages saying, you know, I want the t-shirt in black and I wear a 3X. And I'm like, okay, t-shirts would be you know, are going to be popular. And I said, well, maybe we put that on a coffee mug. And then somebody says, or a beer glass.
Beer glass would be cool.
So, you know, it's not that I'm trying to get all, you know, monetized and everything, but I mean, I do, you know, I'm proud of what we've been able to build, and I want to be able to share it with a whole lot of people. And I don't do this for the money, guys. I do it because I really, in my heart, believe that I've seen change, and I've been to these events, and I've witnessed change. And when you are at these events and you feel it, right, Bret? You just feel it happen.
You do. There's a different vibe.
Yeah.
I think I've said it before when I was interviewed, when I went to Vision last year for my first time, it is, you would mention it, it is a overwhelming experience if you've never been to it, because it's big. It's phenomenal. But because of the networking and the friendships I have built by going to other events, it was a whole different experience for me because I knew a lot more people.
Yeah.
And the more you attend these events, whether you attend one a year or two a year or one every other year or whatever, because it's an investment.
Sure it is.
The friendships will grow and you will become part of this, changing this industry.
Yeah.
And that's how we do it. We're not islands.
No.
We have to be one big landmass.
Yeah. And that's, people reach out to me all the time and they just, it's always the same thing. They go like, I heard your conversation with Bret, or I heard your conversation with Tanika, or I heard your, conversation with Jess Ann. And it's like, people are resonating with the conversations that we're having with each other. And that's the whole thing. Cause then they don't feel like they're in their own little shop, in their own little world, fighting this battle. It just, it becomes a grind, but it doesn't become like this ever impending thing that I can't get my head wrapped around. You know what I mean? Like, you make this network and people help you to some days just get through the day. And in other months, they help you level up to that next goal that you had in mind for your business or your shop or you as a technician. That's the whole thing with this, right? Is 1% better every day. Like our friend Josh keeps saying. Well, if you do the math at 1% a day in 100 days, you've doubled. Well, that's an optimistic, goal. But even if you're just 10% better at the end of the year, that's 10%. That's big, right?
I'm going to do that with beer. All right. So if I drink 1% more beer tomorrow,
or on the alcohol level, right? Like, some of the American beer is pretty light. Like you guys do, you have it in the 4s still. And I mean, that's cute.
I'm a craft beer guy. So I don't drink anything under 6%.
There you go. So yeah,
my go-tos are usually 10% and above.
Yeah.
Jeff, I got one here. I paid $300 for. It's a Sam Adams Utopias.
Okay.
28.9%.
Oh. Ooh. Yeah. That's so if you want to level up your beer game, Tools is where you can do it too. So
yeah,
I'm just excited. Bret, what's some of the standout classes that we've got? Like, I know we kind of touched on who's coming, but well,
Steckler's doing so when we try and set these up, I don't want to be repetitive with classes. So if I'm looking for classes that these instructors have that may have not have been done before, or we didn't have them at our event. So Steckler's bringing 2 new ones that we've never had, uncovering the boundaries of tool and test equipment.
Yeah, I want to sit through that one.
We got some stuff from the Garage Gurus, some like fuel trims and misfires.
Mm-hmm.
We got some electrical classes in there. David Hobbs is going through a phase.
Nice.
We got Robert Kenny coming. I love Robert.
Robert's great.
He always has. So we're going to do some modern automotive braking systems with him.
Yeah.
So we got stuff for everybody. Samantha Higdon and Tom Shearer are going to be doing some things.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I really am excited about that they're going to do together is called Write It Right. It's for the technician's perspective on how to get their work sold.
Nice.
On how to write up their DVIs and explanations so the service advisor can sell it.
I want to sit in that one too. Yeah.
Keith Perkins is coming in for network failures. I think he's also going to be doing a Volkswagen Audi class.
Yeah.
For modules. We do have one Tesla class. Basically, I think it's called Tesla Essentials.
Mm-hmm.
But we got stuff, management stuff from on the side with, Rick White's doing a couple, and Cecil and Kent.
Yeah.
We got some marketing things. But we pretty much tried to do some stuff that if you're bringing the shop, not everybody is that top diag guy. You got to have stuff. to cover some of the other bases.
Mhm.
I think Hunter's going to be doing some alignment. We do have a couple off-site classes.
Oh, nice.
They're not. It's 5-10 minutes down the road, so it's not that far. Um, Dan Theakin's coming in. He's going to be doing a tire profit class that you can.
Awesome.
He begged me, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna. I want to. I begged my committee, is like, I want to give them this class.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it's the first time they've done that, this class or not. I know he's been talking about it. Tim Iezzi and Ira Waterman are going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So we got some top-notch guys. And on the collision side, we got David Lohr coming in. And I don't know all these guys, so I'm looking through here.
I'll say this, guys. If you're bringing, say, your whole team, right, and say you have an already top performing kind of service writer, right, and they have a block, maybe, just maybe, have them sit in, say, a Brandon Steckler class or something more diagnostic based for them. Not because you want to take your service writer and make them a diagnostic whiz. I'm not trying to sell anybody on that idea that it's that easy. But I think, Bret and I talk all the time about what makes some of the relationships so effective is that understanding of each other's roles and what we've had to do to get there and what we do on a day to day. So, I've got to know Ashley Kaplan really good in the last couple of weeks, and Ashley talks about, like, she's the first advisor I ever knew of that had ASE credentials. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying, Bret, that we're going to sit in a class and they're going to come out ready to fix cars, but they come out with a better understanding of sometimes that they can work with the customer and then that language to the technician, right? And conveying, Bret knows where I'm going with this, right?
Yep.
Communicate better. So if you're sitting there and it's like, oh, I don't know, like I don't know if my advisor would get anything out of an advisor class, put them in something technical. I mean, it may be tough for them, maybe they don't want to do it. I'm not forcing anybody, but just keep an open mind to this idea, because, like, I come to these and I sit in the business classes, I sit in the advisor classes. Like, I don't just sit in the technical stuff, a lot of it because I'm not all that smart and a lot of it's way over my head. But what has been really powerful for me is to be able to sit in a class with Rick or Cecil or Kent or, an advisor class or Becky Witt at some other events that I've sat in. And I get that vibe of that, when they understand, know your numbers, and they talk about the business and stuff, I come away with such a better understanding of it that I'm like so much more appreciative of the ones that are doing it right, I guess is what I'm trying to say, Bret. Like, it's,
Yep.
Don't sit there and think your role as a tech, you should only take technical. Don't do that. Do not do that. If you have a block where you're trying to fill, be open to anything. Go take it. You'll be surprised at the people you'll meet and the stuff you'll come out of there learning. It's incredible, guys. It really is.
I think Sarah Fraser and Tracy Capriotti are bringing a class about communications.
Yeah.
And that's basically for everybody.
Yeah.
Goes along with that. Last year at Tools, I think we did, Rich Falco and them hosted the Train by Techs.
Yeah, that's happening again this year, I believe.
We are giving it another whirl again this year, so that went over really well. Yeah. As far as I know, Rich has reached out to some of the Train by Tech guys, and some of them will already be there.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting aspect to what we do at Tools.
Yeah, I'm on that this year.
So we got a lot of stuff going on, and like I said, we tried put together for the amount of classroom space they allotted us for our attendance numbers, which was small. I'd like to increase it a few more. So we need you guys to go to midatlantic.org and click on the tools and hit register.
Yeah.
To help build this show up, because I'd like to see it become what ASTA has become in the South.
And I tell everybody, it has at least that much potential to do that. It really does, guys. Like, it is. There's, people go, oh, North Carolina is like the epicenter of everything in the aftermarket, automotive side. And there are a lot of big companies are based out of North Carolina, but man, there are some killer shops in Pennsylvania. There are some people, and some of the smartest people. Paul Danner's in PA for people. Like, let's be real. So it's like the Northwest is full of talent, and if we can get those people coming and get immersed into it, you know, you could see this become that destination event that everybody wants to make happen every year. I really believe it has the potential to do that.
Well, you're coming, so I wouldn't see why everybody don't come.
Yeah. Well, because that's just it. I have to be vocal about the fact that I'm going, but I can't be too vocal because there's always that people are like, oh, that a-hole's going to be there.
No, I think next year we'll probably have to have some like red velvet lines for you and some security guards posting around you.
Oh, it's so funny.
You'll be sitting there with your beer like Allen Iverson. Yeah. Practice? I don't practice. I just do.
Listen, if you've listened to the podcast, you know I don't come in with a script or I talk all the time about process. I am the best you've ever seen at throwing the process away and just like throwing shit at the wall. I do it all the time. So
I can baffle with bullshit with the best of them, buddy.
So it's so cool to me that like, you know, these events, what's beauty about tools is that it's not so regimented. You know what I mean? Like it's very free flowing and you know, and I can say this is like every time that you didn't see people like rushing to get somewhere and they didn't have time to stop and say hello. Breakfast and dinner and all these events have been always so cool and laid back about, you know, just having a conversation. And I mean, you know, we talk sometimes about how some classes, you get a vibe like you don't, like you can't ask questions because they're trying to get through. And I've never seen that happen at Tools. I've never been in one class yet. And I think that's a key thing too, because like, you know, we talk about when you're at these events and if you have something you want to ask or a question, make sure you ask it while you're here.
Yeah. The only dumb question is the one never asked.
Yeah. And, you know, I keep going back to it. Somebody could give you the same answer, but when you get the answer with their passion that they're giving it to you, that's the secret sauce, guys, that makes you, you know, really, really think that something can work or it really holds weight with you is because, you know, when you get a chance to be around some people that you look up to, that you respect, that, you know, are where you want to go. Don't be intimidated. Just come up. Everybody is so friendly that I've never had somebody, you know, come away from an event going, oh, I met this person and, you know, they weren't like I thought. Everybody has been so warm and welcoming that I come away so invigorated.
I've had some people say, you know, like some of the big shows have become more corporate and the personal touch is left.
Yeah.
I vow for Tools, as long as I'm involved and I'm still around, I will never let that show, no matter how big it grows, get that personal touch away from the show.
Yeah.
Because we just talked about it pretty much this whole episode. The feelings you get when you go to these shows, you want them open, you want them friendly, you want them inviting.
Yeah.
And I'm a personable guy. I will make friends with my worst enemy because that's who I am. It's just, and I don't want that feeling to go away.
No
matter how big the show goes.
I'm that same way. Like you guys have got to understand, like sometimes if you hear something, you know, and a lot of it is I see it more and more, Bret. It's like we're into this, you know, 30-second clip world and people see one little thing and they make a judgment. Okay. What I can tell you is that like not everybody absolutely loves me, as crazy as it is. But if you've seen something and you're like, and you feel like it's stuck under your craw and you want to say something about it, by all means, approach me. Come tell me. Like you'll probably find that like when we have the conversation, a couple minutes worth of conversation about it, you'll come away with a better understanding about where I was actually going or what I was actually trying to say. And, you know, you might still think that guy's like, ain't too bright. But they'll be glad that you got the conversation, that you understood, okay, now I get a better idea about where he's coming from. Because again, it's sometimes in the way that I deliver, in the way that I talk, people think it's a very much an us versus them type of vibe. And it's so not that, but it's just sometimes it's the way it comes through. It's the way I talk. So if you see me and something I said, you didn't like it, please come up and tell me. Man, I want to do this and get it better, and I want to be these events where people can feel like they can talk to anybody,
Yep.
and that's the end goal for Bret and I is like this feeling of family when we're at these events, is that because that's what makes you keep wanting to come back. You want to connect with the people that you see again, and then the new people that are always coming in and out of this industry, these young people. Man, it is so cool when you meet some of them and they inspire you, because like these young kids, man, like you feel their passion for this. It's crazy how.
And we need to keep nurturing that passion, because so many of them young ones wind up to a dealership that treat them like crap, and they go out of our industry.
Yeah.
And then we've lost them. So all of us should be valuing. Like last year, I took a guy that wasn't even my employee to tools.
Yeah.
He's my employee now because I took him to tools.
Yeah. And you got to remember, sometimes like a lot of the negativity that we have in the conversations comes from people that are outside of our circle. So what I'm going to say is that like they're within our industry, but maybe they do work in that new car dealer kind of the situation, right? And I'm not trying to throw shade on them, because that's a big part of my career, but we're like, if you're a dealer tech and you can somehow make it to tools, or you can make it to the event, come by. When you get that feeling here where you're talking to these guys, you're going to see how it's so different what we do day in and day out in these shops compared to what you do. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, harder or easier. That's not what I'm saying. It's just different. And you'll find that like you will meet people that will be very welcoming to you, and they will be very respectful to you, and they will want to know more about what you do every day. And that's been part of my platform, is being able to share what a lot of the dealer techs do every day and what they go through. But when you come into this environment, when you meet these people, it's a completely different, uplifting type of attitude that they have to this industry, the way they see it. And it can get infectious, man. It really can.
Yeah.
And that's the cool part, right? So, don't think that because you work at a dealership or something and you know about the course, don't think that you can't come here and get something out of it. It's not. That's the furthest thing from the truth. You'll come away from it so empowered and invigorated. Like I said, you'll be amazed. And it doesn't mean that you got to then get out of the dealer and go work at an independent. That's not what I'm trying to say. But you will take tools from these events that you'll be able to implement into your job, and you'll be able to understand better what the other side of the coin is like. So,
hey, so before we get out of here, there's still sponsorship opportunities for anybody, business or anybody that would like to sponsor, and there are a few exhibitor spaces left, so those are filling up fast.
Yeah. And the trade show is always like really, really good at tools. Really good. Like better than you would expect it to be is what I can honestly say. So, if you're an expo kind of guy, like, you're coming here to see the newest, flashiest stuff, definitely make that part of your trip. Bret, what else? What else do we share real quick before we get off of here?
Well, Mid-Atlantic ACA is, if you're in the Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware area, you can become a member and you can save on your registration fee, because right now registration for the full weekend is $6.79.
Yep.
We also have 3-day that you can buy Thursday, just Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or you can do a 2-day, or you can even do an a la carte 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
So those prices are all up on the website. The other event we do in the fall it's like I said, it was a smaller regional event. It's called Super Saturday.
Yeah.
That's also a strong, smaller event that's been going on for 14 years, I think.
Yeah.
But the organization is going to run both and try and grow the tools as the big main regional show for the Northeast, and use Super Saturdays as maybe move that around from different areas of the states to see if we can get some more people from the western side involved, and maybe the northern side. But yeah, these events, Jeff, if you haven't been to Vision, I'm going to highly encourage you to come to Tools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And set aside in your budget, set aside to plan for these ongoing, continuing education. We can't. I think it was Jim Kokonis that said it last year. We need to change the verbiage of a training event. We're not training dogs.
No.
We are continually educating ourselves.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that you decide after listening to Jeff and I, and knowing that the one and only Jada Mechanic will be there for a meet and greet, that you want to come to Hershey, Pennsylvania, April 29th to May 3rd, unwrap your potential, and register for the event.
Yes. Yeah. We keep saying it, and it's small peanuts, but like people have done the math, right? And you talk about, it costs this much to go to an event, and somebody says, oh, it's like 10 grand. Think about that, how many hours of labor you sell over the next year. What that small increment you would just have to do to each work order, right, Bret, to hit that 10 grand. We're talking small peanuts, guys. Right? So just don't think, can I do it? Think I'm going to do it. And then just make one little tiny financial change and do it. Because you will come away from these shows like Jim said, it's not about training, it's continuing education. Training always has I trained for this and I'm done. I completed it. Continuing education is ever evolving and non-stop, ongoing. And we all have to do that in this industry because Bret and I got on the tech before we got on. The tech is changing so fast you can't even keep up on it. I was working on a 2021 Audi Q5 hybrid e-tronic today. That's what I'm working on, right? And everybody goes, "What the hell is he doing on that?" Well, it wasn't too complicated because it's not that old. But I'm sitting there, prepping it for sale, right? So I have to become familiar with all the systems on all this different stuff. So if it wasn't for the fact that I have friends that I've met that worked on that thing when it was brand new, that I can reach out to and say, hey, how do I make this light go off? Or what, that's the beauty of this networking. And that's what it comes from, is being able to share your experiences with people. People want to hear your story. People want to be heard. So give and you will receive, and you will be you feel weightless when you walk out. You feel so enlightened by these events. It's not even funny. So if you're on the fence, like I started out with, get a hold of myself, get a hold of Bret. I'll send you any link I can, give you all the answers I can about the event, and man, get off your butts and sign up for it. It's as simple as that. The event is I love this event because it feels to me like home. It feels like going home. And it's not where I live, but it's a part of me that it just feels very familiar and comfortable. And that's what you want in an event. That's what it is all about. It's how much you feel it. And it's got it in spades, man. So Bret, thank you, man. Anything else you want to say?
Dude, I appreciate the opportunity. It's always nice to chat with you. I can't wait to see you here in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Give me that big bear hug, and I'll bring a beer for you.
Thank you, man. You and your wife are in my prayers as always. So I'm glad to see that things are turning the corner there. That's good. And for sure, when I see, I'll be sure to give you a hug. People that, when you see me, I don't know if I'll be sitting down or standing up. I am a hugger. If I met you once, probably the second time I meet you, I'll give you a hug. If you want to hug me the first time you meet me, I'm not going to say no. I'm just that way. If you want to take a swing at me, it's okay too. But just come by and say hello. Honestly, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And these events, people, make them happen, make them part of your schedule, because and Bret, I'm sure, same thing. He's never had one person say, I friggin' wish I hadn't gone.
No, I've never said that. And I've been going to events for a few years of the newer style events. But I mean, I've been in this business. I used to go to these trade shows and these kind of weekends a long time ago. Back in the day, we called them a convention, but it wasn't more of a continuing education. But they're always fun when you can get together with your brothers and sisters in our industry.
Yeah. So everybody, that's our that's our push for tools. So, like I said, reach out to us if you want, any information that we can give you. If you can't make tools, make it a priority to make an event. Make it. Hopefully you'll see me at more of them, and you'll see Bret at a ton of them too, and they'll change your life. So, everybody, as always, like I always say, try to be 1% better tomorrow. Thank you to all my sponsors. Thank you to all the lovers and the haters of the podcast as of late. It's been great. Go listen to, my Tanika's new podcast. Go listen to, Jess Ann's new podcast. They're both upcoming guests on the Jada Mechanic podcast, and likewise, I'll be guests on theirs. There's some great conversation coming out in the very near future that's just going to rock your world about what we're discussing and how it's going to be. And I mean, this event is just going to kickstart, I think the next level for so many of us. So, make it a habit to be at these events. And I'll love you. I can't wait to see us all at Tools. Thank you for listening. Bret, can't wait to see you, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Love yous all. Talk to you soon. Bye.